welcome to the Fantasy Pavilion, your home for fantasy sports.
Welcome to the Fantasy Pavilion, guys. Your home of fantasy sport, and of course, we are back here to do the Japan preview, Japan GP preview. And I'm joined, of course, by our F1 expert and the series fan, Michael. Michael, what's up?
Evening, bro. What's up? What's up? I'm cool.
Of course, before we go any further, Michael, we have to discuss a teensy bit about Singapore. How was Singapore for you?
Um, Disappointing. Deeply disappointing. Deeply disappointing. Um, the conditions were very tricky. I think I was really excited because Lewis started third, and then it kind of just went downhill from there for various reasons. But overall, it was a boring race because, like, for a while, it was difficult to like get a rhythm of anything for the race, and then it kind of picked up when it says we had a lot of crashes and retirements and stuff. Um, but it was just very bland for the most parts of the early parts of the race, especially. But I'm glad that Max it didn't that the championship didn't finish this weekend,
Right,
gone,
right.
and it get pushed to Japan. So I mean, it's gonna happen either this weekend or some weekend coming up. But at least we get a little bit more fighting, but we already know Max is gonna take the title, Red Bull as well. I'm happy for Sergio.
Yes,
Basically, it
yes.
seems as though he could only win on street circuits.
Street
He
circuit,
has
yes,
he has
yes.
something against traditional racetracks, it seems. But yeah, I'm glad that he got some points. That gives him a little bit of encouragement and was he with confidence
Correct.
to push himself to try and not necessarily win, but like just up his standard. I mean, he already signed a new contract with Red Bull, so he there for a while, but at least do something to show your worth, that you're not just second fiddle to Max.
Well, he was
Charles,
given
Charles,
permission to win this race.
yeah. Only because Max was so far behind.
Yeah, that's all. That
Um,
is all. Chris
that's the
Horner
only
was
reason.
pissed.
Yeah. But a big up to Charles and Sainz. Charles tried very hard. Sainz he fell off after the first couple laps, even after the safety car restarts. Max and Checo just, I mean, Max. Checo and Charles will just pull away. So I guess he just was not able to perform in these conditions. I actually saw a conversation. Usually in the past years, we would love wet races because as soon as rainfall is drama, is excitement.
Yes.
But I feel like things are to such a level now based on the regulations, meaning to say no DRS during rain, um, like all the rules and everything. Wet racing is kind of boring in the sense that
Ah,
yes, people will still try and make an overtake and that kind of thing, but it's not as prominent. And then two, it's just like it's not as exciting as in past years. So somebody was saying dry races might actually be better now because the tire compounds that they have for choice. The intermediate is such a funny tire because okay, fine, you will put it on and it will work for a couple laps, and then there's part where it drops off and drivers struggle for grip, and then it will come back. And that's something they've been struggling for the past couple of years with those tires, especially. So it's to try and figure it out because if you just remember at the start of the race, Lewis was like, "You all put me on the wrong tire.
correct.
I should be on the wet. I should be on the wet." And I'm like, "Bro, you do not want a repeat of Turkey last year, whereby the entire the entire grid was on mediums and you was the only man on wets.
Struggling. Yeah.
Um, so I think maybe Mercedes was playing it safe, whereby they just went with what everybody else was doing, as opposed to trying to do something different. I still think wets was not the right call because yeah, the track was wet, but it wasn't soaked to that extent. They actually interviewed Felipe Massa on the grid before they started racing. He said he was in a similar position whereby the track he started on full wets and it was the wrong tire to be on. It was to be on inters and the track was much wetter then. So definitely inters was the way to go. I think Lewis probably wanted the wet so that he had that extra confidence, especially in wet parts. He'd have probably take some different lines as opposed to everybody else. But I think everything just happened. I think there's a bit of frustration with him, especially trying to get past Carlos. You see him having that incident whereby he clipped his wing,
Yes.
then going into the barrier, and that, so it was just a bit of frustration. And that comes down to the conditions. And then for a while, people want dry tires, and they didn't enable DRS. Like the commentators was like, "Why is DRS not enabled as yet?" And yeah, it's up to the discretion of the race director. But as soon as everybody on dries, put it on. It should be pretty straightforward, you know. Had a couple big crashes. Our boy Latifi does not know how to use his mirrors, but this is his last season, so he might as well just get it all out his system while he could do it still. um, but I guess we had a big up McLaren dog.
Whoa.
Big
Bro.
up McLaren.
You have to big up McLaren. You especially.
Exactly, because I'm not a McLaren.
You-
Isn't that that's it? So that's the thing. I was watching over the highlights from the last Japanese Grand Prix, which was quite 2019, so it felt like ages ago.
Yeah.
And I realized, you are a massive McLaren fan, and like it was after Mercedes, it was McLaren, and then they had that dry spell even last year they were pretty strong. Lando was pretty strong. We still can't talk about Ricardo. And then this season it was just like, where did it all go? And that's why I jumped off the McLaren train. But after a performance like this, you still have to ask yourself, is it they just got lucky at the track? Or they actually do something to the car that's making it better? And they could only make that decision after seeing it perform in this race and maybe the race after that. Big up Daniel. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe this could show people, hey, once I have a car and a track I could work with, maybe I could do
Correct.
something good
Correct.
and maybe save a spot. But at the same time, I think for some people it might be okay for him to sit out a year. People were throwing around the idea of him going to Mercedes as a test and reserve driver. Lewis was saying that he doesn't think a driver of Daniel's caliber should be in such a position. And it's like, I get what Lewis is saying, and I agree. But at the same time, somebody broke it down. He's like, let's say Daniel goes to Mercedes as a test and reserve driver. Because of his experience, he can't. Participate in some of the tests. So Mercedes still have to use some of the younger drivers to do testing at certain things because they have a young drivers testing,
Yes.
whereby it's only drivers who have not been in Formula One or only do like FP1 sessions and stuff like that. So they're still gonna need things. But Daniel is a great stand-in. He'll be Mercedes kind of quote unquote super sub in the event Lewis or
George said, correct.
correct. And then what somebody else was saying is that puts him up for the prime position of being a Mercedes driver when Lewis inevitably decides to retire. So
Should have
it's
been
like-
last season, yeah. No,
What's
granted
that?
things went well. I mean, that's what I mean.
Okay, yeah,
That's it,
yeah.
that's
Provided he
what I
won,
meant, that's what I meant.
yeah, okay,
If
fine.
he wasn't around,
Provided he
I
won
mean,
the
sorry,
championship,
if, you know, that's what
Yeah.
I meant, that's what
provided he won the championship,
That's
he
what I
probably
meant,
would have,
yes.
yeah,
That's
he
what
probably
I-
would have
sorry,
retired.
I don't mean, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I thought he was taking a cheap shot there. With that
No,
problem.
no. If he wasn't around, I mean, sorry, if things didn't work out how it worked out, yeah. But
Yeah.
do continue. I digress. Do continue.
So yeah, if it is, yeah, and then that sets Daniel up in a pretty good position to
Yeah,
be
for sure.
back at one of the front running teams. And Mercedes has always been a team. Okay, they might start off a season on a bad foot, like in reference to car, but I honestly believe next season they will have an even better package. Because think of it now. Look at where Mercedes started off, whereby at the start of the season we were fighting with freaking Haas.
Right,
But we have
right.
consistently been the third fastest team on the track with all the problems we had with the
Correct.
porpoising, with the straight line speed, with everything. We were still better than the rest, quote unquote. Um, and we're only getting better, so much to the point now. Look, we starting in third and stuff like that. So
Yep. Keep
clearly the
on
car
kind
is
of things
getting
it
better.
now. Correct.
Yeah. So give us to the rest of the season to catch ourselves and look at where we will be. And then to the benefit with having a down year is you get some extra time in the wind tunnel at the end of the season. So they're gonna have a little bit more time to review the car to better things and such like that. So I honestly think next season will be a lot better for us, Mercedes. McLaren is so ironic. Right now they're fighting with Alpine. Alpine both cars did not finish the race. And it was this weekend I was like, I saw Ocon's performance in FP1 and FP2, and I was like, damn, Ocon dog. And even FP3. So I swapped out Alonso for Ocon
Yeah.
because I was like, okay, Ocon is definitely performing a lot better than Alonso. And he's a little cheaper, so I might be able to make some movements and that kind of thing around in the teams. And then boom, Quali came and Ocon was out
Yeah.
in queue, and I'm like, dog, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then the
That's
race
not all.
came.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Then the race came and he was struggling. Then the car gave out on Fernando. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, damn, okay, cool. Ocon really was a good choice. And then
Correct.
bam, Ocon's car
Bam.
finishing is like, damn.
Correct.
So somebody made a meme. It was something like McLaren. Our car isn't great to win to finish any points. Um, not fast enough to finish any points, and then McLaren's car not fast enough to finish. So it was McLaren's car not fast enough to finish any points. Alpine's car fast enough to finish any points, but unable to finish a race.
Oh, Lord.
So it's like, wow, kicks, bro.
Yeah.
But
That's
I think so. The battle with them is right edging edge. I think it leaves McLaren just a few points ahead of Alpine. So that is gonna be an interesting battle to watch the rest of the season. Maybe we'll see some interesting strategies whereby you might see Alonso and Ocon taking grid penalties for new engines. Um, maybe this weekend or next weekend, so as to have a fresh power unit to last them for the rest of the season, to just be blasting like what Mercedes did with Lewis last season, whereby they gave him that brand new unit in Brazil, so that the last few races he was just killer. Um, so maybe they could play something like that. Georgie.
hmm.
Um, yeah, really disappointing one, especially with our
Yeah.
quali. And then I guess Mercedes took the opportunity one time just to change his engine, so that I mean it done starting out of position, let me just kill it and done.
Correct.
I think he could have done a bit better, but the conditions on Sunday gone was just absolutely crazy. For
Yeah.
that race delay, it just probably had everybody off a little bit. So yeah, it could just go down
I
for me.
just
Hmm.
my only comment on that director that a lot of people complaining. I'm not seeing you complaining, just observing, right? But a lot of people and I was like, what? It rained in other races and the other races was so lit. Like I don't understand why this
Hmm.
particular one. Of course, it didn't
Because
go according to plan, but I don't know why
yeah,
everybody was. To me, the
so
others was lit. No, of course we saw what happened, and I saw, but still, I just feel it was just bad luck. Like it was just a bad day at the office. That's why I put it down to. A lot of
for
people
Russell or
shouldn't complain.
everybody,
For everybody,
yeah,
I hold about five people
basically.
DNF. Yeah.
And as you think to remember, they haven't raced at Singapore since the pandemic.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
then that goes to okay, everybody is a little bit unfamiliar with the track one. And then
Yeah.
two, the track itself hasn't had cars on it in 2 years. so it's not rubbered in, as they say,
Right.
as a
Yes.
normal
Yes.
track. So even though it
Absolutely
was
correct.
wet, it just was not,
Yeah.
you
You
know,
can sit
quote
on it.
unquote
Yeah.
prepped.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they did any work on the surface itself. I would have added to it. But yeah, and then today showed you just exactly how slippery the asphalt is. So like on the grid walk, when the commentators, he actually dragged his foot on the ground and it would literally slide on the ground, and when it touched the paint, it gripped. So it just showed you
Hmm.
exactly how slippery the ground was. So you saw people drifting and stuff, and it's like, okay, cool. And that's why you had to rate these drivers,
Of
because these
course.
guys are still driving these cars in excess of 150, 200K and staying on track. I
Correct.
mean, granted, some went off, but
Yes. Yes.
the conditions they were driving in,
Yeah.
you know, that's in your road, can you'll end up around a lamppost. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Correct.
So to big up them, as much as yeah, everybody was probably a little bit off the game. Um, but Japan is going to be hella exciting.
Hmm. Yeah.
I am excited for Japan.
Yeah. I myself. I think
Who else
it's
got a
been a
big up
while
in
to
that?
it.
Hey Seb, you got some points, boy. Stroll get points, boy.
Yeah. I've been bringing up Shirley recently.
Yeah, I mean the only reason he's still in the sports, I believe, is because his father is a team owner.
You keep saying that,
Um,
but how to be that? How to be
no, because let's be honest, if it is Latifi had money like his like Stroll, like if Latifi family had Stroll money, he'd have still be in Williams. But
that?
yeah, because okay, fine, Stroll has glimpses of talent or he has glimpses of good performances, but it's never consistent enough, in my opinion, to continue to warrant a seat in F1. Not saying that I do or anybody else think, but if it is, you look at it, Stroll is not at the level of, let's say, the average F1 driver, in my opinion.
Right. Right. Right.
So, I mean, sorry for Seb because Seb and Lewis were two of the drivers with the most victories at Singapore. So it'd have been nice to see him a little higher up, but at the end of the day,
Yes.
it's the machinery he's in, and it was tricky conditions. I like the last set of battle between him, Lewis, and
It was
Max. It was a
Max.
little,
Correct.
yeah, it was a little exciting there. Lewis bend it on like the hairpin, going wide and just letting Max pass and go through. And it's like, damn.
It
And he
reminded me
didn't
of a
catch.
battle with I can't remember exactly which race it was. It was this season, of course, when K-Mag, it was K-Mag or Schumacher? K-Mag, I believe, when Max
Hmm.
was behind and they were just battling. It was nice. I was watching the three of them
Max
just,
and Schumacher.
yeah. I was just watching the three of them, Vettel, Lewis, and Schumacher. It was some great shots where the cameramen were working, where I saw some really lovely shots. And it was a nice trail, they just going out, and it was nice. It was really nice. And the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
corners,
And
it was
then
a cool battle.
that it also reminded me of, remember when it is, I think it was last season, Lewis was, I think it was Turkey. It was Turkey South. And he was fighting back to reach up to the top, to the front of the gap, front of the race, and Alonso just blocked him lap after
Mm.
lap after lap after lap. And when it is he finally got past him, it was just too late to catch
Yeah.
Seb and Ocon. And I mean, it's not the exact same thing, but literally, if it wasn't for Vettel driving how he drove, Stroll would not have finished where he finished because Max would have taken him away as well.
Yeah.
But Vettel drove the car and protected the position for as long as he could. Um, so yeah, just go along. I mean, Pierre did good enough to end up in the points. I think anybody who finished the race deserves some kind of props because of
Yes,
those
especially
conditions
with
and just how
conditions.
many
Correct.
people
Correct.
went off or got damaged or that kind of things. So
Correct.
yeah.
I agree. Hey, Javed, thanks for partnership. I'll see you later tonight, right at 9, bro. Right, of course, FPL. Now, before we jump into the Japan and we talk about Japan and preview Japan, talk about the track and everything and the awesomeness of Japan, I just want to remind our peeps, our viewing peeps, of some mischief we have coming up. So this weekend, Japan GP, of course, as we know, and we are doing a pajama watch along at Island Bay Chill and Grill. Let me just be clear, people. 1 a.m. Sunday. So Saturday, leave your house right at 11:15. and come. Don't leave your house Sunday 11:15. Leave your house Saturday 11:15. Come down there
PM.
and we line PM and we line.
Yeah, come in
Right
when it's
1 a.m.
dark.
Come in the jammies. I wear Arsenal pajamas and of course my
Oh my
fancy polo.
jeez.
So come, just wear something. Wear something pajama like, right? Bring some pillows. We hanging out the linemen, right? Myself and Michael will be there. Some of the other fantasy villain crew. Some of the guys who are doing football, they'll be there as well. So try to have a
I bring
nice
my
vibe.
blanket.
And
I'm gonna bring my blanket and wrap up in my
hopefully, and
blanket.
then Michael, from after this, when we get our little break, there'll be some godly hours. We'll have some 3 p.m.s and some 4 p.m.
4
races.
p.m.s and
So
at
please
2
be
p.m. Yeah.
patient. Right, Michael, bear with us. This is the last crazy hour, well, except for Abu Dhabi, obviously, but for the next few.
And Abu Dhabi is 9 o'clock, which isn't too bad. That's
Oh,
the usual
alright, that
timing.
ain't bad, that ain't bad. Right, so we have some nice daylight, sun shining, brunch hours. Races coming up very soon, so be patient. We appreciate you guys that normally come through. Right? So,
Yeah,
of
and
course, let's
don't
get.
forget these come in your pajamas, so you can get your drink specials.
Yeah, we're getting specials. We're getting specials, right? Come true. And it's a long weekend for me because we also have Liverpool playing Arsenal. That same
Mm,
at Island Bay. There's a big C Sports will be there, so I have to get back up to go there. So yeah, it's gonna
long
be
weekend.
very interesting. A very very long weekend for me. You all know how it goes. So let's get straight into it. Japan is coming up soon. Yeah, and
Japan.
of course, guys, as I always remind you guys, the weekend starts on Friday. So so tomorrow we have our practice one. Well, actually, no, they have practice from today. Actually, so they had practice today. Well, because of the hours, that's why I was show like that because it's the wee hours. So
Yeah.
practice one at 11 tonight was for us. Practice two, the 2 a.m. tomorrow, and then 11 o'clock, 2 p.m. Sorry, and then 11 o'clock, and then 2 again, and then of course our
No, that's
race
2
at 1.
a.m.
Yeah, 2 a.m. And I realized so 2 a.m., 11 o'clock practice 1 and 2, 2 and 3, sorry, respectively. Qualifying on the Saturday at 2 a.m. and then Sunday at 1 a.m. I'll probably be up for that 2 a.m. Um, race. That's
Quali.
Friday to Saturday. Yeah, I'll be up. So I'll be up for that.
I would
That
want to, but as we so tired and as we so much
Yeah.
pain.
Nah, those are my hours, bro. Those are my hours. I could do that. If all the way
Night
so
owl.
that time, bad, but we can't do watch along. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
So of course, let's do our track preview. Break it down one time there. Let me know if you see
Right.
it. Oh, nice.
So the Suzuka International
Suzuka.
Race
Love that
Course.
name. Yeah.
I love it. I was having a conversation with somebody like, why do you play video games? So I was telling somebody, yo, I want to buy a PS4, but I don't know if it makes sense because the only games I'm gonna play anyway is Gran Turismo and probably Kingdom Hearts and maybe a COD or something like that. And they was like, so why racing games? Like, what does that give you? And I was like, it teaches me things.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know Monza by heart, I know Suzuka by heart, and I know Silverstone and those kind of tracks by heart is because of these games. So I literally know all the corners of Suzuka from playing Gran Turismo. So it just gives you that familiarity. So I think I got a bit of nostalgia when you see the cars going into the corners and you know,
Mm,
hey, in the game, if in this car, you're going into that corner in like maybe third gear, and that kind of thing. So it gives you that kind of excitement of getting a
yes.
better understanding and knowing how the track works. So we start on the start finish straight, go down into turn one. Turn one, drivers will not be braking. It will literally be a kind of lift and coast through one, slight braking into two, that right hander, and then power into three, four is kind of tricky because they will power through three and maybe give a light lift into four, power into five, lift and coast around six. So for those who may not understand, lift and coast means basically just come off the accelerator and let the car roll, but it's rolling at 200k, so
Mm,
it's barely really a roll.
I
But you
know.
hear the change in engine, and then slide braking into seven. Well, not really braking, but another lift and coast, and then straight power Into 8, it would be another lift and coast, but heavy braking into 9, because watch the angles of it. So 8 is not a fully a 90 degree, but 9 is a 90 degree. So have heavy braking into 9. That's probably the few points on track where they have decent or a pretty strong braking. And then so come out at 9, power up that hill, flat out. 10, they will take flat out, break into 11. They'll take a probably a wideish kind of line. And then from 11 through 12 into 13 will be flat out, heavy braking. Well, breaking into turn 13. So turn 13 and 14 is really tricky in the sense that, so like even in the video game, I would always bend that corner and end up in the runoff area because it's kind of tricky in that you could take 13 fast, but you have to slow down for 14. And in racing, they'll always tell you try and brake in a straight line. So you don't ever want to brake with steering lock on because that could just throw off the car's balance. So it's kind of tricky. So the younger, inexperienced drivers, I want to say Sonoda because he's never driven a Formula One car around Suzuka, but at the same time, this is his home track. So I feel like drivers they would run their home track only similar to time and time again, so that it could be good at it. I guess that just doesn't work for Leclerc, but um, so and then you have Guan Yu Zhou, who probably never raced at Suzuka as well, at least never drove a Formula One car around there. You have really experienced drivers around here, like Bottas. Bottas only won the last race out.
Yes, yes. I
Vettel.
think Lewis
You
has the
have
fastest lap, though. But
Lewis has the fastest lap, correct? He finished third that race in 2019.
yeah, yeah.
Um. So yeah, you have a couple experienced drivers. So Leclerc and all was fighting in that. So you have Max and Leclerc came together in that 2019 race. So you have a few drivers, like a pretty good majority of them, who have experience around the track. Alonso. So if it is you wanted to name them, Bottas, Alonso, Lewis, Max, Leclerc, um, Albon, um, Albon,
Well, it's Vettel, Alonso, Lewis, Max, see what's it?
yeah, Max. Who, Max?
Gasly. You would say Gasly or no?
Gasly, yeah, Gasly was in Toro Rosso, coincidentally enough, back in 2019, yeah. So he was paired with Daniel Kvyat. So Alex Albon was actually at Red Bull for 2019 for that part. So that was that crazy year whereby Gasly started at Red Bull for the start of the season and then got ditched back down to AlphaTauri. So a lot of drivers on the circuit this weekend has familiarity with the track. It's really just newbies like um, Latifi, Zhao, Sonoda, and yeah, I think they are the only ones that don't really have experience around Suzuka. Probably Ocon has probably a few races there as well, so he should be fine. So yeah, I was just going. So as I said, 13 into 14 is kind of tricky. Drivers might lift and coast through 13, break into 14, and then 14 all the way to 15 is straight power. You'll see a lot of overtaking here, either at the start of that straight or at the end of it into that turn 15, which is famously known as 130R. There's a couple famous moments here at this corner. There is a pass by Fernando Alonso on Michael Schumacher around the outside. Flat out, no lifting, and this is back in like 02, 03, when it is the cars weren't as aerodynamic as the modern day cars. So to have done that, it was like, damn, that's madness. Because usually drivers would, I guess, lift a little bit and then go through the corner and then back on the power. There's another famous moment that wasn't necessarily a race, but it was Ayrton Senna driving the original Honda NSX around the track. Um, and just his car control, he had a really unique throttle use, and that was demonstrated in him testing the car around the track because at the time he was at McLaren, who was using Honda engines, so they used to do branding and such for the Honda cars. So yeah, 10-15 will be easily flatter with these cars. It'll be really nice to see how with following they go through. So maybe some guys might try and follow through the corner and then do the overtake into 16 and 17 because that definitely is a very heavy braking zone. That's probably the highest or heaviest braking zone around the entire track. So a man like Danny Rick, he might try and follow that whole stretch and then dive bomb you into 16 and then take the line through 16, 17, around 18. Something to note about turn 18, that very last corner, you usually get gusts or winds there that could affect people in qualifying.
Okay.
So you come out that corner. So I think it was I think it was K-Mag the last time he was there with Haas. As he came out that corner in quali, Augusta Wind just took the back of the car and put him in the wall. So that's something. So we'll see how it is if the wind still affects there, but that's something to note coming out at turn 18. So yeah, and then power down the straight, and that's a lap of Suzuka. Based on the lap record, it's 130. It might be a bit faster. We'll see. So it should be a pretty exciting race. It's 53 laps, so it's not one of the crazy 63 or 71 lap races. So, but it's not gonna go extremely quickly. I saw a weather forecast where it might rain for the free practices,
Yes.
then be dry for quali, and then be wet for the race. I really don't want a dry race. I mean, I really don't want a wet
Once
race.
a
Sorry.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
I feel like this track is just a whole lot better in the dry than it would be in the wet. Certainly, like if the race started dry and then went wet, it would be really exciting.
Right.
But
right.
for the entire thing to be
To
wet
start,
like it
yes,
was
yes.
last weekend, I think that will take away a lot of the excitement because this circuit only has one DRS zone.
Yes.
So, and that's literally start finish straight. So there's not a lot of other places to use it. So I think true F1 fans will say, okay, this is probably one of the most pure or the most purest F1 tracks because it doesn't have DRS for drivers to use. So we'll see. It would really push the drivers to really use their understanding of slipstream and thing to really get past and make overtakes. Unless it is something like a Red Bull versus a Haas and it will just power past the car.
Is it safe to say though, 80% chance that whoever gets Q1 most likely wins the race?
You mean P1? Yeah, whoever starts on
Q1, yeah,
pole.
whoever qualify first now, most likely wins
Yeah.
the race. So whoever qualify first.
Yeah, I think whoever it's a high chance, but I mean if Leclerc gets P1, it's highly unlikely he will finish and win the race, just based on the track record so far.
Yeah.
But in the past so far, a lot of the times the guy who starts the front of the race finishes front of the race. But you never know because
Yeah.
strategy could come into play. So I don't want to say, yeah, whoever started the race is going to finish it in first. But I would say it's probably like 65% chance of happening.
No. Who Ismail? Thanks for coming through, big up. Ismail asking, I had a question one time as I read today. So,
Max DNF, Checo win the race, Checo to win the title. Let's go.
Hey, was it Max that Max needs now? So Max needs
25 plus 1. So he need to win the race plus fastest points.
He can't come second. And
Yeah.
if let's say somebody weird comes first, so somebody like
You know,
I say
he
somebody
needs to, I think it's 25 plus 1, and Leclerc needs to finish like 4th or lower. Or Checo needs to finish 4th and lower, and Leclerc needs to finish something like 6th and lower.
when we finish second, Adler.
No, well, he can still win in second, but you'd have other things. Like the easiest thing to calculate is if they, guarantee
Just DNF.
DNF.
Wow.
I mean, so maybe this guy, maybe Horner would tell Checo, hey, take out Leclerc when you get a chance, no dog.
And that's it. Title done there.
And that's the title done.
Wow.
Big man thing.
Or you just do what you did last time and ask him, man. Anyway, so constructor standings, right? Let's look at the constructor standings. Constructor standings is also.
I think he need a 8-point lead over Charles to wrap up the
Title.
So it's eight points he need, right? So if he comes second and Charles comes fifth to lower, well, Checo as well. But I mean, we're only counting Checo because there's no way. If Gasly have to start in Red Bull over Checo for the rest of the season, there's no way Red Bull letting Checo win over Max. So so I mean, 8 points. There's multiple permutations and combinations of it happening. The simplest one, it's in Max hands. Nobody could question him. Nobody could challenge him if he do what he had to do.
Because only if Ferrari was his constructor, his team, then he might have done it. But so let's forget Max, right? So you go ahead.
You saw the meme with there was a meme Ferrari did. There's this thing going on, I guess a TikTok challenge where they playing the race horse song and somebody holding it just running in place.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Sainz did it with Leclerc, and the caption was Ferrari holding back Leclerc from winning the championship. I was like, Dad.
Once they know. Once they know.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Self-acceptance is the first step, right? That's the first step. But forget Max, right? Max not important. This is his first legitimate win. He's going to win, right? No problem.
First legitimate win.
Let's focus on the rest of the guys now, right? So how you think is going to shape up now the rest? Who you would like to see finish in what position or based on form? Who you think deserve to shit? I think I want to give a big shout out to Ocon. I think Ocon has had a nice silent season minus last week. Last weekend was terrible. I think that was his worst finish for the season. Not finished, but just his worst driving for the season. He has been really impeccable so far, right? Unwavering, really good. After pick up the safety car, Alonso wasn't really good because he got a bad start. He had a very bad start. Not bad in the sense that he was being bad, it was just real unfortunate things where it was like, I don't know, it was just weird. A lot of weird stuff was just happening to him, reliability issues and stuff like that. It was just weird. But he has rebounded, and Bottas has been the opposite. Bottas started well. People saying, right, he was a Lewis shadow and all that small, and now all of a sudden, he is the shadow, right? You can't see Bottas anywhere at all. Hamilton not having the best starts at all, as we know. But coming up, last 3 or so races have been decent for him. Russell, great, amazing start. Only this one and the one where he went to help, we got out the car when he went to check and make sure it was Tsunoda. I want to say it was Tsunoda. I hope to say the right name. When they crashed him when he got out the car, that was the only 2 times he finished out of the top 5. So he has been amazing for the season so far. So
for rookie especially.
Yeah, come on, Mr. Saturday, right? No, they can't call him that. So who do you think? Y'all have any favorites you want higher? I know your answer already. Israel, you want Ricardo higher, but not happening. So,
the Mercedes reserve driver. Oh no, he fine there.
Wow, he sees the propaganda like you man.
No, I think for his career that is Daniel's best.
That's better than Haas. That's better than him at Haas. I mean, I'd
way better than
Haas. To see him at Haas. But if he goes Mercedes and he stayed there for 2 years, Lewis say, okay, right, I'm packing up now. I'll cushion there. But career-wise, that'd be better for him. But Michael, you probably want to close your ears for this one. But I definitely want to see Lewis win race this season to continue his streak.
Agreed. I want him to do that as well.
Well, I didn't want to remind you that he didn't win one, so yeah. But
I accept it. I accept it. I don't think in most senses this is not his fault. Like, this is the only weekend you could be quote unquote upset with him because of where he started. This is probably the best he started for the season so far. Isn't it?
But like the mistakes he make, it wasn't.
Exactly. Yeah. So that I think this is the only weekend I could be properly disappointed based on where he started and where he finished. So it's not like we win together, we lose together. It probably hurts a little more because this was probably his prime opportunity.
Correct.
Exactly, because if it is he at the start, he immediately pressured um
Checo.
Checo and got past him, and then he just had a battle with Leclerc, and then you could get into Leclerc head,
Easy.
Kachina Dabrin.
And then Ferrari would have
So
do him a favor too. So yeah.
Yeah,
exactly, and then
but
too, and you see the problem was he was behind Sainz. Sainz was struggling,
Yes.
and he was just struggling behind Sainz because of Sainz, and he was saying it, yo, I am faster than Sainz. I just need to get past him.
That's
So
all.
if it is he did
no,
not
if you're
get past by
faster, get
him at the
past.
start.
Don't say you're faster and you can't get past.
Exactly, agreed. Do say it fast and can't get past, but he gave it away, I think, into turn one or turn two thing. But I would say that Science pushed him off.
Yeah.
Controversial, but whatever. If it is, I honestly think if he held on to third, he would have done better. He'd have managed the tires or something when it is the other guys pitted, or he'd have tried for overcut or undercut or something like that. Um, but that's just how I think. So I can't really be vexed with him for thing, but I really would like him to hold up the streak because that's an impressive streak that I don't think anybody
Right.
else
So let me say
has.
Max win Japan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we need him to wrap up the title.
Looking at it, yeah, looking at it inevitable.
We just want to let him wrap up the title and let me see Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull and swap them up and let me see some fun, you know? Let me get some
Yeah,
fun with it, right?
I mean that's really not gonna happen though, because remember these cars are so specific. They
Yeah, but I mean, just give them
the
one race. Let me
seats,
see what they could do.
everything.
Let me switch them. Let
Yeah,
me see, man. Come on. But
yeah, that would be pretty cool.
that would leave 4 races again, right? And of those 4 races, there's one race in particular, Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
is Lewis's
The
race.
OBL,
Yeah.
the OBL will be strong.
So if there's one race that he could
The
probably
voodoo, my
win,
brother, the voodoo,
The voodoo.
the
is
voodoo.
Brazil, right?
Yeah.
And if he managed to stay ahead or like really close to Sainz and Russell, you're really
Mm-hmm.
not that far off them in terms of points, you know. With a race
No,
win
that's it.
and good positions, he might be able to claim fourth.
I honestly think I think the top three is set. Maybe it could be a
Unless there's a
1-2 Red
DNF,
Bull
unless there's a
because
DNF in the next 2 races, I would say it's set.
yeah,
If
I
if
think
Russell
the top
if
three
Russell
could
didn't
stay
have
there.
those 2 bad races, I think he would have been in the conversation.
Yeah, you'd be there.
Set.
You'd
He'd be
definitely be
set.
there.
Yeah, because
set
that's
in
it. He
stone now.
was at a point in time. Russell was challenging
Correct.
for that third place. For that third place,
Yeah.
matter of fact, he was in third
He
place,
wasn't in
Mhm.
place.
and
Correct.
then
It's just 2
Checo.
bad races.
Yeah, he had those couple bad races, but I think even so, if it is Georgie putting 2 great performances, let's say 2 podiums, and Perez DNFs or just finishes out of the points in those 2 races, he's going to be back past him.
Yeah.
And so Georgie just need to keep pushing, and maybe he could snatch at third place. You never know.
Yeah. Maybe Lewis can
Or
start
even
you never know.
exactly, or if it is Leclerc, Ferrari works against him again, and he DNFs next 2 races, and Georgie puts in those performances, he could snatch a third from
So let me
Perez.
just
He could
expand
from
on
Leclerc.
let me expand on that one a little bit, right? Let me say Charles finish out of the points. 'Cause I don't want to say DNF, you know how I go sometimes. Let me say he finishes out of the points for one of the next 2 races, right?
Mm-hmm.
And well, Perez will get past him. Perez up there comfortable.
Yeah, because it's just like what 2 points.
And Hamilton wins in Brazil, catches up to Russell and them.
Mm-hmm.
If it only happened that this season finish with Red Bull 1, 2, and Mercedes 3, 4, how much of a failure would it be from Ferrari to have the fastest car
Bro.
and be
Total
such
and
a
complete.
disappointment?
Total and complete mission failure, as they
Yeah.
say it in the SEAL team.
Facts.
But I think I honestly don't see that happening. I could see at least one of the Mercedes finishing in say the top 4,
Yeah,
edging out one of the Ferraris. But to say
that
both,
in itself
nah.
is a failure. But like, if
Bravo.
both of them
No,
get ahead,
that in itself is a massive failure.
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, based on how Ferrari have been performing, they do that to themselves. And if it is
Yes,
they
correct,
allow
correct.
Mercedes to come back and edge the last 2 um top 4 spots in the drivers' championship from them, then something's seriously wrong, and Ferrari need to fire Benotto and get somebody else. Plain talk,
Because the
Batman.
constructors is a difference of like
Yeah, what is the constructors? Yeah.
40 and 25, 70 for the most. So that's a bit much to ask, I would say, at this stage.
Yeah, it's a bit much to ask.
But
But
Ferrari being
that's
Ferrari, not
crazy
impossible.
impressive. Like, look back at where Mercedes started, and we still up there.
Well, that's all due to Russell, so I don't know why saying we. Right? That's all.
I mean,
Yeah,
I joke,
Russell,
I
Russell
joke,
was,
I joke, I
Russell
joke.
was, yeah,
Well,
no, Russell
not
was the most
joking, not
consistent
joking.
driver in the earliest part of the season. But
Russell
you
on
know,
203 fine, but 170 from Hamilton is not a
No bad, not shabby, yeah, not too shabby.
yeah, it's
not
not
too
too
bad, not too
shabby.
bad.
You know,
For somebody
but
who
what
don't know how to race too well, Anning,
you
and
know what ever
only
vexed,
because he have a good car, not too
what
bad.
upset me though with the as much as I like to make fun of Lewis and stuff, I mean, I'll go. He big any dance we could make a banter about him. What I didn't like at all when the second time when he went into the bar and just clipped the wing, but he could have kept on driving. He commented
Nah,
every
he
time
don't
like,
get.
oh, mistake. No, what's saying is the comment is like, oh, mistake from the seventh time, which happened. Seventh time, oh, God, the man he was Lewis. Every time he keeps they make
He's
him
a
sound,
human, exactly.
oh,
Yeah,
gosh, man, that can happen to anybody. Oh, God. I find that was
agreed.
annoying. The rail was on it.
They dog him for that. Yeah,
I was like, yo, just stop now, Like, if he can't make a mistake, and like what the hell, dude? That,
That
I mean, at
is
the end of the day, he's a
why
black man and a white man sport. Whether
I,
we
I,
wanna call them racist or not, is just plain talk bad
yeah,
manners.
that's a different topic by a different day, but I just find it annoying. They say this
I'm
do
gonna make
Yeah.
football
an
too, but I just find it
assumption.
annoying.
I'm gonna make an assumption that you was watching the app commentary and not Sky Sports commentary.
Nah, it
Nah,
was
I
Sky
was watching
Sports.
Sky Sports.
It was
Nah,
Sky
it was Sky
Sports.
Sports. I rather the guy with the fro any day. I like that guy. I don't know
I
his
like
name,
him.
but
I like him, but that's basically the only one from their team I like. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Indian dude too. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, but he don't really commentate much. He's more
Yeah,
on
that's the
the
thing.
on the
Nah, he
track.
don't
Yeah,
commentate. He just
yeah.
do the
Track
off track
analysis and
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's what I like to see and hear from him. Huh? He's do some good stuff there.
But yeah, I think it's difficult for Mercedes to teeth away a second place in the constructors.
Correct. They're good there.
Everything is pros and cons. Let's say that Mercedes closes that gap, or I mean, we don't want to say it because, as I said, every Formula One fan is a Ferrari fan in secret or in some small way. Um, if it
Well,
is
I
they would
actually
have
come
in the
kind of
last
late
four.
into it, so when I came into it, Ferrari was doing okay, but like I never really had that inkling
w-
towards them.
Right. So I feel if they've been in last four races, yeah, maybe mathematically it could be possible. Um, but I definitely think third place isn't too bad because, as I said, we'll get a little bit more wind tunnel time and R&D in comparison to Ferrari and Red Bull, which is good for us next season. And I think since before the break, we could have said this wasn't going to be our season. So I am comfortable finishing there. McLaren, they could hold off Alpine if it is they could put in good performances. But McLaren has been inconsistent. They would show some great performance at one track and then they will fall off at the other two tracks. So I feel like they don't have that. They don't have time in their favor to be doing that. So if Alpine could get a story together, whether it is they bring new engines to the last few races and that performs well and they survive, I think they could edge out McLaren on the best of the rest fight. So yeah.
Alright. So we need to let's get into the fantasy aspect because at the top of the hour I have a bumper tonight. So let's dive into the fantasy aspect really quickly and then we'll sign off there. Right? And it's looking like we might have about a person that's in Jersey, but yeah.
Nah, we're not doing that. We still had time. We still had time.
And looking a little grim now. Looking
Nah,
but
nah, 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 nah. And never give up hope.
let's get into so of course so this is my points from last week. Not great. 19 first team one as you can
What
see.
the hell?
Yeah, 147 second team and then 188 third team. Pressure
Things
in
rough,
the
boy.
camp. Real
Pressure
pressure.
in the
Yeah, that
19
first team is
points.
pressure. I never see that before, dog.
Me
How?
neither. One of my players in FPL made 19. One. So far less for a whole team of race drivers with constructors and Max in that team. Eh? Let's remind people. Max
That's
in
what I'm trying to say that, boy.
right?
Die pain and
So
sorrow.
red, but because of only DNS with Guani and stuff, and it was hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, I
That could,
understand why, but I pain and sorrow,
yeah,
Dread.
tough. It's tough out there. Tough anyway. Tough anyway.
It's real tough.
But big up team three. Team three had a big -6 hit, but still gave me a drag to a 180. I taken that. And of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
team two drag to a 147. Humble in defeat. Red Bull 65 tango for Perez all the time. I think Perez dragged me across the line there with that. And of course, after that constructor Stroll, turbo drive them 52 points. Taking that all the way to the bank. I ain't bet to that at all. So I'm not too sure if I may make some changes, or as well as I may not, because these were some changes I made. And I'm glad I kept Norris, because I had Norris for a little while. I had him for a while.
Yeah.
To your, you were the one person saying no, don't have him, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, as I keep telling you, be a little patient, you never know, and look like McLaren, turn the corner, no pun intended, and now, found their way, found their mojo.
Let's strive a little bit.
Yeah, and they can handle corners now too, because I was frightened for them, and oh my goodness, I was frightened. So let's see what they can
I
do.
think you should definitely change up that constructor in the first team.
Team one.
I think take out Alpine. Like, I had them and I changed them out this weekend, and I'm so grateful that I did, because I'd be in
Who you brought
shit.
in though?
You could probably pull up my team 3, because I think my team 1 or team 2 is who I had it for. But I changed. It was in team 1 I had the Alpine, and I changed it and I brought in let me check quick.
Team 3, Mike. Right, Singapore.
I'm watching this league here.
Oh, yeah, Ferrari.
Yeah, so team 3 was Ferrari, but I think in my team 1 is where I had Alpine and I changed them, because they were really they had I had a feeling that something wasn't gonna go right. As much as I was swapping out Ocon for Alonso, I still knew something wasn't gonna go right with Alpine.
And so far, Antonio, way tight, boy. Woo!
That's what I tell you, not over yet.
Tight. It is really
What's the points
tight.
difference?
Real tight, though.
Right, see, he's 3,044 and I'm 3,003, 31 points. I'm telling you, it's not over yet, and I still have my wild card to play.
Yeah, well, you're playing last sprint weekend.
Well, that's it. I feel like playing it in Brazil, and I feel like that could be the weekend that I say, you know what? Okay, cool. Not that I will suck up my pride and put in Max just because I know he's going to finish high.
Right.
Like I told myself, as much as I don't want to do it, I know at some point I will have to, to win, just to beat him, and I feel like we're reaching that point.
Correct.
I'm watching that standings for the fantasy pavilion there, and I seen the first Trinidadian flag is me, boy. Let's
Big
go.
up you.
Big up you all the time. Well, yeah. Any suggestions, advice, any transfer plans you're looking at for the weekend?
I'm trying to get my teams to load, and I just don't want to load. But if it is I had to make changes to your team here, I always say if it is you have a constructor, you don't have their drivers. So I wouldn't put the 2 Ferrari drivers and Ferrari as the constructor.
So that's me for all my teams. Let's go.
Yeah, I
do it
at one time.
No, you have to have that because if you look at Red Bull or Mercedes, they are a little too expensive. Ferrari just right enough. They gain points. Ferrari drivers cheap. Just take everything and go.
That's it. Remember, Leclerc Leclerc crossed the 20 mil mark, so he's no longer turbo drivable.
Super drivable, yeah.
So to me, that's a big thing to decide.
That's a
Okay,
red
I would
flag.
only put
Correct,
him.
correct.
I would only put him if I know he's gonna pull a lot of points on his own.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I will be putting my turbos either on. More than likely, my turbo is gonna stay on Sign simply
Yeah,
because he's the one high driver that I can still turbo drive.
correct.
But if it is I had to make any changes, honestly, that's Aston Martin as a constructor, not to a team.
Yeah.
I
They're
would try
doing
and change
bits.
that on.
Now they were doing bits. I keep telling them they're doing bits. It's just Alpine messing up, but Alpine really screwing up. Alpine
Yeah,
were
I
doing
think no,
so
but
good.
I think it was just a bit of exhaustion. Why it is they had such a bad weekend
Yeah, correct, correct. They were
last
doing
week.
well. They were doing consistent well.
Exactly, they were
But as I
consistent
say,
and thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
I mean,
Alonso
maybe
was like,
McLaren do something to the engines or something, so you never know.
maybe. And
Maybe
McLaren might be a bad shout as a constructor. Might be.
that's
Possibly.
maybe.
Maybe.
I
I
still
feel
touch
like
and go. I might put in Norris just to say, okay, cool.
Yeah. That
I have
you
a
have it covered.
second option to turbo drive.
I
But
feel
yeah,
like Lance Stroll making some points recently, you know.
Well, that's why I have Aston Martin as my
Stroll and Gasly. What do you think? They making points or not?
Gasly. Well, I have Gasly. I never looked at it. Yeah,
Gasly a little questionable. But
yeah,
hey,
you
if it
know,
is you wanna
Gasly
share
really
screen, I
lucky.
have a teams.
No, well, I need to share screen when you finish because I need to choose some teams. I still have Bottas in my teams.
Yeah, same thing quick now, same thing. I already feel it already.
Go through Michael or you want me to go through?
I'll go into it. So this is this weekend. This is live in Singapore. So actually, Team One I did have the and I had the Ocon. So that's why I lose points there. I lose what 19 points. So I lost as many points as you made.
Right, right.
But I
Love
make it back because I had um Perez. Like this was real lucky here to put Perez as the turbo. So I think that is the way to go. If it is you have Perez, put as the turbo. Perez or Sainz.
Yes.
Team 2, Mercedes as the constructor. For this, as much as I think what happened to Mick, he finished the race, but just out of the points. But he finished the race, which is most important. Like, it's always about precision.
You can't win if you don't
So
finish.
team, exactly. So I'm actually a little upset at Harris. You see, I had some faith. I feel like I wasn't too actively thinking about it. I was just looking at value. I had Norris. If I'm gonna make any change in team 3, it's definitely going to be Sonoda if I could, and putting in somebody like Norris in all honesty, or taking out Ocon and try and team Norris. The way I might have to do that is to take out both of them, then get Norris, and then just somebody to make up the rest of the team. But that's how I had to play it with our team 3, and I just hold on to that turbo drive for not turbo, sorry, that wild card for the sprint weekend because that's the one way to make the most points
Correct.
for Brazil, sorry, because I need to beat Antonio bad.
Yeah, for sure. Ishmael, you ready?
It's in there.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 minutes. There you
2
go.
minutes. Alright, I have to remove Bottas from all my teams. So, I
Wow.
mean,
Wow. Mr.
Savage.
Bernard?
Savage. But we still have he.
man making a
Dog,
point.
that team tree hella interesting though.
Points are more points,
Like,
you know?
what the hell is that team tree? I mean, your little sketch there with our Haas as constructor. So if I
And that's
was
the
you,
only way I
I'd
could
drop one
afford
of
it.
them drivers. I mean, yeah, that's the only way you can afford it. I mean, you have Max and somebody come together, or Perez and somebody come together, and that's your whole points go on there, dog.
Cool. Cool.
That's
GOD.
why that's why I find it real risky to have drivers that you know going to be battling each other on your team, or have your team built up with a lot of people who are gonna be fighting each other because you know for a fact the chances of them coming together is gonna be higher.
So I think for this team one, I wanna take out Bottas and
Stroll,
bring in Stroll. But my
right?
question is, do I double up Austin
Double
Martin?
Aston, nah. I would say see if you could take out maybe Vettel, but it's who you could
But that'd
afford.
be Gasly. That's the only person I could really bring in.
Uh, unless you go with a Schumacher, and then with that extra money, instead of taking Stroll, you take somebody like a Alonso or Ocon.
Yeah.
So
I
that way you
forget
still
Stroll.
have the three guys. You still have the Perez, the Sainz, and the Leclerc, and then you take out. And can you afford who you could afford? Could even
Could
afford a
afford
Norris,
no Alonso, Ocon, Gasly.
Alonso, Ocon, Gasly. I think either Alonso or Ocon is a good bet, and you would
Alright, so you
have
go with
nice.
Ocon just for Jared to be happy.
No, but I think that's a pretty decent team because you
Yeah,
have three
absolutely.
drivers in the top five consistently. You have
Correct.
Ocon who is pushing and consistently, well, not consistently, but he will be in the top 10 more than
He was
likely.
consistently just messed up that last. Not him, but the rest of
Exactly.
that ball. Yeah, he
He
was
just
doing
messed up that last race.
solid.
So I
He
think
was
that's a
just solid.
pretty strong, decent team, dog.
I agree.
Alright.
Because if Ocon was in a better vehicle, I dare say.
Watch I
I
take
say.
it all Bottas from all chairman teams and he gonna come finish your race first. With he gonna finish your race
Yeah,
first
sure.
and you're
Yeah,
gonna have
Michael, sure. Sure.
the fastest point as well.
Yeah, and Michael, sure.
We
Sure.
could hope he finished in the top 10. But as
In the
somebody
top
said,
14.
as somebody saying, these finished drivers going to Alfa Romeo to kill their career.
Hmm.
Because first it was Kimi, now is Alonso, now is Bottas, and
Bottas.
after that it had no more finished drivers in Formula One.
Well, if Daniel Ricciardo hold on, he might get a little space.
But then he not finished, so
Nah, he probably finished. Alright, so team two.
no,
Taking them out for
you remember I'm talking about the nationality, you know.
Yeah,
all.
he didn't catch.
All.
He didn't catch. He's I
Yeah,
was
but
saying.
that's it.
Yeah, he's Calnias right now. He didn't catch it. He didn't catch it.
I thought you were saying finished.
He's Calnias right now. He didn't catch
Nah,
it.
he's finished.
I was ready to jump in and say and make a joke too, but that was hilarious. I was ready to jump in. I said, well then his career is finished. Lord.
No, that's what I was talking about. I thought he was talking about the drivers who career is basically done now. I didn't hear the finish.
Nah, it works both ways.
Yeah, what's good is not initially you ruin the joke, you ruin the joke. Yeah, like Ferrari, you ruin everything there.
So this one had to be a Lance Stroll, unless we go with a sneaky down here, can't see what happened.
I know you want to. I don't say that. You know you want to. You realize
I mean, you could even go Jow if you want.
woo! I don't know. I wouldn't touch none of them right now. Now I went that route and it didn't work for me. But it might work for you.
We go take a punt on that, Eric. We take a
Yeah,
punt on
Yeah,
that.
you never know. Maybe he try and push to save his career.
That has seat still open, you know. So he might be
I
battling.
mean, if I was you, this last team, I taking out Bottas and I taking out that constructor, and I might take out one of the top drivers. Is either I take out one of the Ferrari guys or I take out one of the Red Bull guys, and then
Let's see
after
what
that,
constructors we could get first.
how much you bowling with?
16.8.
I mean,
Best
I
we
would say you
could
could
do-
go with the Alpine or McLaren.
Alpine too expensive, McLaren too expensive. Because I need a driver with that as well.
True.
Well, that's
So-
it. That's why I say you get one of those better constructors and then you take one of those drivers and then you settle on a driver. Because I think it's better to have 2 to 3 great drivers and a good constructor than it is to have a team full of great drivers and a
Yeah,
crappy
but
constructor.
if four of them come top 5 and the constructor get no points, that's still
But
more
then,
points.
but then that top 5, okay, fine. Perez and Sainz still turbo drivable. Okay, fair enough.
That's still more points than having 3 drivers coming top 5 and a constructor with like a 15-20 points.
Okay, fair.
So how about we do a reverse? We go with Williams, and then we see who's the maximum we could get as a driver. We have a 11. Can do a Seb or Stroll. I feel like Stroll getting better results than Seb these days, huh?
A little bit, yeah. But that, yeah,
A teensy bit. Nothing to talk about.
nothing to talk about, but good enough, I guess.
Yes. Right. Well, all right, fellas. I'm sorry about the wrap it up here because I'll get you for this
Yeah.
next bumper schedule out here. But I want to thank everybody for coming through. Don't forget this Sunday in the wee
We
hours.
outside.
Literally outside. Come check us, pass through, come in your jammies and bring up the flyer quickly. Bam! We out here, right? Island Bay Chill and Grill at 1 a.m. So that is Saturday into Sunday, not Sunday into Monday. I've had to explain that today to big people. So let me just clarificate it. When Sunday morning, wee hours, right? Just before the witching hours, so you can reach them in time before everything come out at 3 a.m. 1 a.m. Island Bay Chill and Grill. There we go. Michael will be there with me. And of course, some of the crew from the football side of it will be coming through. Not to show us when the F1 crew will physically be there. Doug Ishmael will be up because he's, the
I will
grounds.
be asleep.
He likes
I
to
will be
sleep,
asleep.
yes. Right? He likes to sleep. So,
I'll wake up and watch
but
it
I
in the
know-
morning.
if Ricardo wasn't the driving seat, so to say, you would have been up. But that's just how it is.
Yeah,
my
for
friend.
sure.
That's just how it is. Right? But yeah, big up everyone. Happy picking me your turbo driver. Get at least 60 points and not DNF, finishing the top 5. Or if you're mega driving, maybe finishing the top 5 as well. And the most of the drivers finish in the top 10 or at least finish race or get some qualification points as well. We really value those points. And that's what saved Alonso. That's how Alonso still got 1 point because he did okay in qualifying.
True.
So keep that in mind, guys. Pray for a good qualifier. And of course, don't forget 1 a.m. we'll be here with you guys or whatever crazy time that is at your country. We'll be here right here with you guys. Maybe Lanesh might be up. I think that's a good time for Lanesh. So
Mhm.
we'll check you guys and see you in the next
Probably
one.
Lanesha will know, yes.
Yeah, true. That is the zone. Alright, so at the top of the hour, FBL Bacchanal. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
Take care, guys. Be safe.